Hello? All right, cool. Welcome everybody to Demo Day. So awesome to see so many people here. Oh my gosh, it gets better every time. So thanks so much for coming out today, guys. We are celebrating the hard work of our students who've endured 9 very challenging weeks of learning to code. 9 weeks ago when they arrived here, they didn't know the difference between an array and a hash, which most of you may not know, but very common things like ABCs of coding. They didn't know the difference between an array and a hash. They didn't know what variables or loops were. But today, they've put it all together, the 9 weeks that we've taught them, and they've actually built real products that they're going to show you guys today. And these are the graduates that we are presenting today. So let's give it up for these graduates. So we have 8 students, very diverse group of students, actually. 3 nationalities. We have Thailand in the house, Marky. We have America in the house, of course. And of course we have China in the house. Woo! And we're very happy that this time around we've got half local and half expat, and that really makes a difference in the types of products that we can produce and the types of learning that takes place. It kind of brings together a Western way of looking at technology, which we know is very different from, you know, a Chinese internet and Chinese interaction with technology. So we bring that together in the Wagon. So we're very happy about that. Our average age is 25, with our youngest student, Nick, only 16 years old. Only 16 years old, and he's in class with people in their 20s and 30s. So he really brings this average age down a lot to 25. The average age without him would be maybe 28 or something. So he's got a head start. We've got the next Jack Ma over here. Look at him. Stand up, Nick. Look how well dressed he is. He's in his suit and everything. And then we're also very happy that we've got half women and half men in this class. So that's a great achievement as well. Bringing a lot of diversity to our team and our products. But I'm gonna tell you a little bit about what they've done over the last 9 weeks. And instead of just, you know, telling you about our curriculum, I'm gonna show you some pictures of what it was like to be here in our classroom right upstairs. There's some seats over here, and I guess for standing room only. There's a seat right here, so if you guys want to move on up. But anyways, we basically, you know, have a very intensive and immersive teamwork-based approach to teaching programming. And we're very focused on product, building a product, not just, you know, coding so that, you know, you're just basically a little code monkey. No, we want you to actually build things that people want to use. And this is our stack, what we call our stack. So we use Ruby, SQL, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Rails. And we also teach Wechat mini program development. So this was us on day 1, after a long day of setup, but this is where it all began. And then most days, actually every day, started off with a lecture. We had about an hour and a half of lecture, and in the very beginning they learned something called Git, you know, basically learning a foundational tool of collaborative coding. And then, you know, after their lecture they would start working in pairs. And the first 3 weeks they learned Ruby, which is a programming language. They learned object-oriented programming. And they also learned SQL database. So this is what it looked like. And this is just scenes from the classroom. Hovered over computers, trying to fight with the computer, figure things out. Of course, we had a lot of fun too. So we celebrated a few birthday parties, a few birthdays during the 9 weeks. Nick is really good at taking pictures, as you can see. And then, you know, we went into front end, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, which was a whole different set of challenges for the students, going from a back end first 3 weeks of back-end then to the next few weeks of front-end coding, which is what you actually see on your screen. And then, of course, it gets very tiring when you're coding for 10 hours a day. We start at 9 a.m. sharp every day, not 9:02, not 9:03, 9 a.m. sharp. And then we end about 7 o'clock. And so during the day, people get tired. And we've localized a little bit because here in Sichuan you have to nap during the day, so we do have our nap time. But we also heard from entrepreneurs. We would invite guest speakers in to tell us about the work that they were doing in their various technology companies. And so if you are in a tech company and you would like to help the next generation of coders see what it's really like, see the type of work that you do, then do reach out to us. We'd love to have you come visit our class or go visit your company. And then about, in week 5 and week 6, things get really challenging when you're here every single day, 5 days a week. And sometimes 6 days a week, actually. We have several Saturday classes. And so we do need some motivation. And so we actually called in a technologist some of you might know, to send us a special message. And here he is.
Today is difficult, tomorrow is more difficult, but the day after tomorrow is beautiful. So we have to work very hard in order to survive the long journey.
All right, Jack Ma. So that's exactly how it was. Today is difficult, and we would try and, when we moved on to the next thing, I would say it's going to be different. We're going to change pace. We're going to go from learning, JavaScript to Rails, and it's going to be better. And then we'd realize, actually, no, it's just as difficult. So today is difficult. Tomorrow is difficult. But the day after tomorrow might be better. And I think we are at the day after tomorrow. And so after learning JavaScript, we jumped into Rails. So we use a framework called Rails that makes it a lot easier to build products very quickly. So you can imagine Rails as like prefabricated housing. So instead of laying something brick by brick to build a house, you actually can get prefabricated walls and prefabricated doors and a roof, and you just assemble it all together. And so that's why we use Ruby on Rails in our program, because it helps you build products very quickly. And we're very product focused, we're entrepreneurial, and you're going to see the products they've built. So that's why we use that framework. And we also introduced Wechat mini programs in the Wechat ecosystem. Our program is in 29 cities around the world, most of them outside of China. Can we close that window, please? Oh, thanks, Jeff. Yeah, so as you can see, there's still construction going on here. But we use the Wechat ecosystem, and so we teach the mini program framework, which I'll talk about in a little bit more detail later. And after we teach Rails, we have students put together their first project as a team. And so in week 7, they start working as a team and they start building their first mini program. And then we kind of took up the space down here. You can see them working all together, trying to ship a product by the end of the first week. And then that gets us to yesterday. I think this was yesterday when they were practicing for the demos that they're about to show off today. And in the final 2 weeks, the final 10 days of the program, they have built the products that you're about to see today. And if you are a developer or in the tech world, I think you will be quite impressed to know that just 9 weeks ago, they didn't know the difference between hashes and arrays, and now they've shipped the mini programs in just 10 days. And of course, we like to have a lot of fun. We like to have a few beers every now and then. And this is at the Film Ranger, which is where the after party will be. So look forward to that. You guys are all invited. But without further ado, we're going to get into today's event. And we do have a guest speaker as well. And we will be sharing products. So we do need to get you in a WeChat group so that you can test out these products for yourself. So go ahead and pull out your phones. And scan the QR code, and that way you will get to try the products for yourself. And we will also be giving away a few prizes later in the WeChat group. So go ahead and get in there. All right, if you haven't gotten in, go ahead and ask your neighbor to add you into it. But as I mentioned, we really like to work with a lot of startups of many different kinds. Technology, of course, primarily, but here in Chengdu and also in Shanghai at our other campus, we work with a variety of entrepreneurs. And Chen Chen, or Li Man Man, is one of the, Li Man Man is one of the entrepreneurs that I met about several years ago, actually. Several years ago, and then we reconnected a year ago when I started the Wagon. And she was a speaker at one of our events, and she did such a great job talking about her experience going from being a graphic designer to building a brand and then starting her own company. And that's, one path that a lot of our students can take is that they can go from, being a freelance designer or freelance developer to then starting their own company. And we've had dozens and dozens of companies start in our program. So we like to connect our students to entrepreneurs. We like our audience to hear from entrepreneurs. So I'm very happy to welcome the founder of the Temple Tattoo, Li Man Man, to the stage. Let's give her a warm welcome.
Thanks for coming, everyone. And I'm Li Man Man here. So as Alan said, thanks Alan. I already have the temple tattoo. It's my own studio. And okay, they only gave me 15 minutes, so let's get in the point. So I think if you want to do something good, actually my point is you get your passion. But the passion is not the only thing. It's you should get the passion which you're good at. Because my first passion, actually, I want to be a doctor because I think saving lives is actually really cool. But I really don't good at it. I'm afraid of that thing, so I jumped to the second passion, which is art. And I think I did something I did the job not bad. And the reason is because when the people ask me to do something 5 scores, I always give 8 scores or 10 scores. I ask more than my clients. That's the thing I can do it good. Okay, not just by talking, so I want to show really quick about my design work. Okay, this is for Li Man Man. And this is some really quick posters from Ducati. They asked me to do a poster for them. And some really quick. It's a version work, so you guys can just check by yourself. So I don't have to extending it. It's something really nice. I like them. It's some tasty thing. Montreal, I think you guys had it. I did the posters for them before. Yeah, like this. And then Western world, you guys like it? Anyone watch it here? Yeah. So I have the inspiration from that. So I made the artwork for restaurants. It's a Thai restaurant. So it's already done, and if you guys have chance, you can go check it. So that's the work of my design life. And then why I decided to have a tattoo shop? That's a question, right? So that's amazing. I met my team. I met my best friend Tian Yang 2 years ago. So we start, because I like tattoos. I went there to get a tattoo, and then we start talking about tattoos. He's he start talking something for example, tattoo actually is not just for the picture, you see it looks good. It's more you design your body. He gave me this concept. I was how? For example, guys, you see my tattoo here, this one? So think about it, if this tattoo is this high, my hands actually look shorter, right? Smaller. But I already have a small hand, so I want it to look longer, of course. So we move it here, and what happened? My hands look longer. And also, look at my legs. This leg tattoo. You see, now you see my legs really straight, but actually no, my legs not that straight. My lower leg is a little bit not straight. But the tattoo helped me. You see. It looks really straight because like tattoo is straight. So when he gave me this concept, I was start thinking, tattoos actually it's not just art on your body. It's more like design your body. Interesting. So like I found my third passion with my best friend, which is the temple team. And this is Kenya, my best friend, and his work like is really like crazy, wild. Like he has his style, and the main things that connect us is a passion of him, like he to tattoos, like the passion. Okay, forgotten. But anyway, so like he likes tattoo a lot, and we talked about the same things. Like one day, if you got a lottery, you got like it become a billions. Will you still do tattoos? Will you still do design? For me, and him, like the answer is yes. And I will do it better because that time I will be rich. Yeah, but some people the answer is no. Then like your passion is not here. Find something even not for money, like you still want to do it. That's your passion, right? And then like when I get to know tattoo more, I found out actually like in China people don't know tattoo that much. Even you guys, you like tattoos, but do you know tattoo is actually we're playing with the blood. What that means? That means I can give you a lot of like also danger parts while I'm doing that. But most people don't know that. Some people go into Thailand, they go to some random shop. They don't even know this artist and they don't even know anything about it. And they do a tattoo, a street tattoo. Dude, you're kidding yourself. Do you know like if he has AIDS, like that's how dangerous it is. And I asked like at least like if I ask 10 tattooists in Chengdu, there's 9 of them. They tattooed themselves like while they're giving tattoo to people. So if you have AIDS or some other disease, like you're killing people, it's like that's not cool. So when I realized this, I start telling my friends like, hey, you see, this is really safe, and he like, oh, you're right, and like we start like take more care about that, and so that's why we have a temple tattoo. I mean, first of all, I should find right person to do it, and then back to my design life is because like I did a good job with good attitude for my clients in design job, so they trust me already, and when I start this business, they support me. Like they support me a lot. Like at the beginning, nobody know us. Like why should I trust you? Like give my body to you, do art for me forever, and in safe way. They trust me, cause like I did good, like not bad job, like in design. So that's why we built temple tattoo, and like start all this kind of works. And the thing is like also when I do temple tattoo, I also have the idea. If my clients told me I want a 5-score tattoos, I give you 8 scores. I will tell you like, hey, tattoo on your body is not just about the picture. It's about how this picture makes your body looks better. So like and also about the environment. Like I did something like design something interesting. Quick show. This is our studio. This is called temple tattoo. Like in Chinese, it means like the temple of giving birth, something like that, like birth. That's why I put a lot of plants. And this is our art area, which I can change every season. And it's like the second floor is for tattoos. I like it. Like that's why I was talking a lot about that. And this is some like artworks we did. And this year we got temple class. It's actually our painting room, but it's also for like teaching students. I mean, I know we're not the best artists. We're on the way. Like, but the thing is like we should tell the students about the safe part, because I think the safety part, like the clean part, is more important than the art part. Maybe you cannot be a great artist now, but at least you can ruin people's skin. No, sorry, this is the lowest like standard. But you cannot ruin people's life, right? That's the thing. Like all the arts should like depends on respecting the lives. So like this we got a class. Like the first thing I teach my students is respecting knives. Be careful with what you're using, changing the gloves, like something like this. So like, so that's the things like accidentally I kind of convinced my first passion. Remember, I want to be a doctor. Saving lives is pretty cool. Yeah, and then I got my second passion, which I'm good at, is design. And the tattoo actually combines them together. It's like, yes, I think somehow I can still save some lives if I teach them. I tell people, right. Some people come to my studio, they're asking me something about tattoo. I said, no matter you get tattoo from my shop or no, but you should be careful with this. And then like protecting yourself. So I think somehow I still did my first passion in art way. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chen. And who here is an entrepreneur? Can all the entrepreneurs stand up, please? Stand up. Entrepreneurs, please stand up. I know there's more entrepreneurs in here. Fabian, please stand up and stay standing. Please, who else is an entrepreneur? I know there's entrepreneurs in here. All right, let's give a round of applause for the entrepreneurs here. Thank you. You guys can take a seat. Because I know entrepreneurs you guys can relate with one another. You understand the struggle of some of the things that Chen mentioned of really, pursuing your passion and finding that passion. And sticking with it. And really, like she said, if we all, as entrepreneurs, made $1 billion, won the lottery overnight, I think most of us, would stick with what we're doing in some form, and like she said, do it even better. Because right now, or at the beginning, we all started out from zero. And it was a long, hard road, I know, in the beginning for entrepreneurs. And those of you that are thinking about it, it's very challenging. But, as Jack Ma said, it'll be better the day after tomorrow. So, pursuing your passion, finding your passion, that's why I do what I do here at Wagon, to help other people find that passion, whether that's in technology, design, coding, or some other form of entrepreneurship. So, thank you again, Chen. And you might be wondering why we have a tattoo artist here, a tattoo studio owner here. It actually relates very well with one of the products that we're launching today. And so the group that I'm going to introduce in a little bit built a Wechat mini program that has to do with the tattoo industry. But first, we are showcasing 2 Wechat mini programs this afternoon. And we've, at the Wagon in Shanghai and in Chengdu, we've been having our students build these products and using this technology for the last year or so. And this is a relatively new technology that Wechat has put forward, and they basically think it's going to change the way that we interact with Wechat, with apps, and we can already see that happening. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But first, let's hear from Tencent about what they think.
Before the very first email was ever sent out, no one knew that information could be sent instantaneously. Before the World Wide Web was invented, no one knew that the whole world would be available through a computer screen. As the world evolves, the tools that people use to connect with the world will also keep changing. Maybe the future can bring even more possibilities. Just imagine when the tools we use are better integrated with our needs. And will only appear when needed. This is the thinking behind mini programs. It's a way of simplifying by reducing tools to their essentials. and make them lighter and more direct in serving their purpose. It's also a way of evolving, freeing up services, to satisfy the user's needs instantly. With this change, it will inspire us to imagine even more, to view time and space with new dimensions, and with this new mindset, things will not just be things, but also the entryway to new services right at our fingertips. Connect everything, and life's possibilities are limitless. The future has just begun.
All right, so a bold statement from Wechat saying that the future has just begun with mini programs. And as you can see, they basically want to create a native app experience within Wechat using a very quick mini program instead of having to download something. So if you're not familiar with the mini programs, this is where you can find them in your phone within Wechat, or also by scanning a mini program QR code. But basically, you know, a year and a half ago when this came out, people didn't think that it would catch on. They thought that this was just some quick, you know, kind of cheesy technology that would go away very quickly. And you saw about the end of last year, things changed very massively when Wechat released Wechat Minigames. And you guys might remember the Tiao Tiao jump and jump little Wechat mini program or mini game that changed everything for the adoption of this technology. You had, you know, over 400 million people using this game in just a matter of a week or less, which is completely, you know, unheard of before anywhere else, but only in China and only in Wechat. And then since then, that was in December, since then, basically there's been an explosion of Wechat mini programs. Virtually every single company has now major company has adopted this as part of their strategy. Of course, not as, you know, starting a business with a mini program, but using this as a tool, as they've intended it to be, as part of your strategy to basically come up with this idea. Actually had an original idea that was involving charity, charity artwork donations, that somehow, as entrepreneurs know, you have to pivot your ideas. It pivoted into something called Wechat. And so I'll invite the team up. We have Jake, Ashton, Kalu, and Marky, who are going to introduce Wechat to you. Give them a round of applause.
Really nice to see you guys. Thank you, Alan. First of all, hi, I'm Ashton. I'm the very, very proud project manager of Wechat. This last 2 weeks has been a pretty crazy journey. It's been fun. We're getting pretty good at pivoting now, so a lot of you guys will understand that. I'd like to say thank you, first of all, for all you guys coming out to support this burgeoning kind of tech movement in Chengdu. So it's really nice to see you guys all here. So give a round of applause for yourselves. Thank you very much. Next, I'd like to say thank you to all the artists in the room. And I'd like to say thank you to Chen, of course, for her fantastic and passionate speech. And let's talk a little bit about that. So from Chen, we can see an example of what exists in Chengdu, which is a very passionate and professional community of artists. But this is kind of a new thing here in Chengdu. It's, there's definitely some, how can I put it, some misunderstanding in the market. And that's what we're going to talk about. And that's what Wechat, which we're very proud of, hopes to solve and to help with. So let's get into it. First of all, my story. I've been looking for a tattoo for the last 8 months, unsuccessfully. I have one, but it's been an absolute pain for me in Chengdu to do it for many, many reasons. I won't get too much into that right now, but if you're curious in the Q&A, I'd love to explain it to you. So let's keep talking. The biggest issue is that I wasn't exactly sure, what I wanted. And I definitely wasn't sure where I should find that, who I should ask, how I should figure it out. So I went through, WeChat groups, I asked a bunch of friends, and it's been a long journey. I've been in and out of mini studios, and I still haven't got inked my second time yet. So this curiosity of not only how to fix this problem, but what's causing this problem. Where can we find this information, and how can we, possibly create something to help other people with these issues? And this is where the idea for Wechat came from. As you guys know, curiosity is infectious. So our group, as we were choosing our project, again, the curiosity kind of infected all of us, and we decided, yeah, this is a real thing, and let's really focus on this. And that's how Wechat was born. All right, so let's talk about some of these pains that I'm talking about, specifically. So specifically, it's hard to find qualified artists, right? And it's hard to know if they're qualified or not. So there's no centralized place currently where you can find and browse, styles, something that fits you in a safe and professional way. If you don't want to go add, 20 or 30 WeChat accounts from all the different groups, and So I've asked a lot of friends, and that seems to be the way that people do it. So let's continue. There's also pain for shops and for artists, right? And this pain, as one influential shop owner in Chengdu told me when I met with her, that one of the biggest issues that she dealt with was undiscerning customers, like me. People that don't know what we want. So we come in and we have these ideas, but we're not sure about body shape, for example. We're not sure what kind of art looks good or what tattoos really mean. So, this puts the artist in an interesting predicament, which is you want to give a good service, but at the same time, you want to make sure that the art that you're branding on someone's body for the rest of their life really represents you, right? You really want to make sure that there's this connection. So that leads to the solution. What is the solution and how can we find it, right? Well, the only responsible way for us to do that was to keep asking, keep talking, and keep looking. So I've been meeting with tattoo artists, with tattoo shops for the last 2 weeks, and we will continue doing this. I've met a lot of really cool people already. Very excited about that. So we had to continue and try to find a way where we could align our views with the real problems that exist, not just my kind of ignorant viewpoint, right? So we tried to find a very meaningful and impactful direction for us to go. So what happened is this evolved to Wechat, and what exists now is this mini program, and it's a foundation of something a little bigger. It's a foundation of what we want to do is build a coalition of quality shops and serious customers, something that didn't exist before that I would have used, and hopefully all of you guys are happy to use it as well too. Okay, so how can we actually do this practically? How do we fix these problems? Well, there's a bunch of stuff we'll get into. I won't go too much into it, but first of all, Wechat is inside Wechat. So like Alan said, there's a lot of really good connections here and a lot of tools that we can use. And you'll see a lot of those exhibited today because we're using most of them. Styles, and this is kind of the heart of Wechat, and what do we use it for? If you know what you want, maybe you're trying to fill in a piece or something like that, you can use Wechat to find that artist that fits your style perfectly. If you don't know what you want, like me, you can use Wechat to discover something new. You can use Wechat to browse through a curated list of fantastic, safe, professional shops. So it's the first time this has been available here, and I think it's pretty cool. So with no further ado, I'd like to have Jake go ahead and lead you through a user journey. So I'd like to introduce now our code wizard over here, Jake, to take you through what it looks like to use Wechat. So thank you very much.
Decided to go back to America before the work was done. So I'm left with about a 3/4 finished tattoo, and I've had it for about 2 years. And I would really, really love to get it done. So what I'd like to do today is use Wechat to find an artist whose style fits the style, whose work I can get excited about, and who's from a reputable studio. So first, I'm going to tap the Wechat logo to enter that. All right, great. So right off the bat, we have something very similar. Japanese New Traditional, the artist's name is Zen, as you can see on the left. The brightness is a little bit low, but you'll see in a moment when you open that for yourself. And you can see that he works at Temple Tattoo. who we just heard from. I can scroll through some of Zen's work and get kind of a, whoa, okay, I don't think I want that, but it's good art. And you can see some of his work and get an overview of his style. Now this looks pretty similar to something that I would want, but let's go through a couple more artists just to make sure. Here's Yong, who we also heard about. Here is Muto, also from Temple Tattoo. And you can see between the two logos here, can't see well on the screen, but you will see in a moment, that his styles are listed. There's old school and American traditional. So I can get an idea just at a glance of what kind of art I'm looking at. Here's another artist from a studio called QG Tattoo. His name is Wee Man, as you can see on the left, and he specializes in hardcore tattooing. So you can get an idea of some of his work. Now this isn't a style that I think I want, but I have a friend who might, so I'm going to share this image with Johnny, who I think would look great with a hardcore tattoo. He might have other opinions, I don't know, but
Let's do it.
let's give him a chance to look at it. All right, cool. So I've shared the image with him, and when he taps through that card, he'll be brought directly to this image of Wee Man's work. So I've looked through a few artists. Let's look through a couple more just to be sure that we are making an informed choice. Here's an artist named Yosho from QG Tattoo. All right. Oh, he has some cool calligraphy. I have some calligraphy as well, so maybe I'll be interested in talking to him in the future. So you can see in the upper right that I've actually already favorited this piece, and you'll see in a moment why that's relevant. I'll look through a couple more artists. Here's some really cool realistic work. Again, not quite what I'm looking for right now, but I might want some later. So I'm going to favorite that so that I can reference it later. So now I'm near the bottom of the scroll. Rather than scrolling all the way back up to get to Zen, who I think is probably the artist that I want, I'm going to go to the favorite section. It's the second icon to the right on the nav bar. Okay, cool. On the favorites page, I can see all of the art that I've favorited. I can see the artists on the left and the studio on the right. Now, I think I've decided that Zen is probably the artist that I want. So I'm going to tap the Temple Tattoo logo in the upper right. And I'm going to get in touch with the shop to talk about booking Zen. First of all, I might want to look through some of the other artists in the shop and see some, oh, this looks familiar. Let's take a closer look at this photo once it loads. These are all very high-res images, so if your network isn't up to the task, sometimes they do take a little bit. But anyway, you can see on the far right there, that's Chin Chin. Yeah. Okay, great. So we'll move back up to the top. And I want to contact the studio for a booking. So I'm going to tap the Message Us button. All right. And I'm going to enter a short message. I'd like to talk about a booking with Zen. Done. I'll send the message. I get a little success toast. And later on, I can go to the inbox, which is the third icon to the right on the nav bar. I can see the conversations that I had. At the moment, I only have one with Temple Tattoo. I can click through and see the messages that I've exchanged with that shop. Now, I'm a little impatient. I've had this tattoo for about 2 years. It's never been finished. And I'd really like to have it done like next week if possible. So, rather than wait for the shop to respond, I'm going to go back to the favorites page, back to the Temple Tattoo, sorry. And I'm going to tap something that you can't see clearly from the projector, but the phone number is directly under the Message Us button. So I'm going to tap the phone number. I'm going to tap call. And I'm going to give Temple Tattoo a call to talk about this booking. Let's hope they pick up. I don't know what they're doing at the moment.
Hello, this is Chen Chen from Temple Tattoo. How can I help you?
Hi, I was on Wechat and I saw your artist Zen. I really like his style and I'd like to make a booking.
Okay, what time you want to come by, huh?
Does he have any availabilities next week?
Sure. Which
Okay.
day?
Tuesday?
Cool. How about Tuesday, 2 o'clock?
That works perfectly. Thank you.
Cool. See you on Tuesday then. And can I ask where did you find us?
Oh, I was browsing on Wechat.
Can you check the info section on Wechat first? So like you can know how to what are you gonna prepare like before you get into tattoo.
All right. Yeah, that sounds perfect. Thank you.
Cool.
All
See you on
right.
Tuesday.
I'll see you on Tuesday. Thanks. So I found my ideal artist. I've contacted the studio for a booking, and I'm going to see them next Tuesday. But before I go, if I'm going to be a responsible tattooee, or a tattoo client, I suppose, it's important to be informed. So Chen just gave me the instruction to check out some of the information on Wechat before I come in for my consultation. Where is that information? Well, it's on the page accessed by the far right icon on the nav bar. It's a little eye here. I'm going to tap that. And here I have a few articles giving me some really important information about tattooing. Some safety guidelines at the top, choosing a safe and professional artist, what to expect from my first tattoo, and how to take care of it afterwards. All of this is crucial information. So I can tap in and go through the article before the consultation. So I'll go over this later. So that concludes the basic journey that a user might take through Wechat, and I think it really highlights a lot of the application and the usefulness of the app. So if you guys want to try it for yourselves, we're going to have a QR code in just a moment where you can download the app and go through your own user journey. You can browse around, take a look at some of the art, try out some of the features. I would like to draw your attention because I know we have an international audience here. On the information page, there is a translation button at the top right, and that will translate all of the UI components for you. I'll tap it right now as a demonstration. Okay? And that actually will automatically change if you have your native language set to Chinese. But if you need to change it manually, that option is there. And another note I'd like to mention is that as this is a 2-week MVP, the studio managers have not taken control of their shop accounts yet. So feel free to send a message, but don't expect a response for another couple of days while we get them set up with that. Anyway, thank you very much, and I hope you have a great journey through Wechat. And it'll be just a moment as we get that QR code
You can
up there.
chat to the group as well.
There we go. We'll have that up in just a moment for you guys.
Yeah, scan away. I'm gonna play too. It's in the group.
Oh. If you're having trouble with the QR code for any reason,
Oh, yeah,
it is also in the group, so you can access it from there.
Oh, okay. You can click extract mini program codes on that. And there we go.
I think everybody's...
Yeah, look at it. If you want to take this fun to the next level, we also have a bunch of temporary tattoos out of the front desk. If you want to label yourself with some type of...
I think you'll be pleased with the scene.
If I pop out of it, how do we get back in without scanning the QR code?
You can hold down from your WeChat browse, and then there will be a little list of WeChat mini programs that you visited.
So if you guys are here and you want to check what mini programs you have, you can see the ones you've accessed before by sliding down. Look how nice that is.
Yeah.
Right there. You can click in. I have a bunch.
And you can do that with any mini program that you've used recently.
Your WeChat slash on there.
I don't know why it wouldn't show up. It shows up on mine.
We could manually, I can share it to you. Share your picture.
Yeah, I mean, I scanned it again. I'm just curious. That's not your guys' thing. That's
No, that's what we usually bring it. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I keep exiting it.
I just wanted an excuse to use the share.
Server has been crashed.
Yeah. Again, this is the most traffic that we've ever had. And we put a bunch of artists and a bunch of pictures, so that's great news. Yeah, thanks for helping us test, by the way. Anybody choose one they want yet? Yeah.
Lena's got one picked out.
Lena's got one picked out.
Face tattoo, right?
Yeah, it's Mike Tyson.
I wonder who did that.
Nick, you can't do one.
I want to know what artist did Mike Tyson walk into the shop and say, yo,
Probably labels, man. Yeah, it's tribal mix.
that would be some funny story.
Good. Okay, guys. Hope you have fun with it. You can play as much as you want later. I'd like to bring your attention back really quickly and just ask a question. I'm personally kind of curious, now that we're dealing with all these tattoos. How many people out here, by show of hands, have a tattoo now? Oh, wow. Beautiful. We're in the right community. How many of you are actively looking or would be excited to get a tattoo soon if you find something good? Yeah, me too. Great. We're in the same boat. Well, you're in the right place. There's some talented artists in the audience today, and it's really easy to connect with them now that you have WeChat. So, fantastic. That's good news to hear. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, now we'd like to move to talk about the future of WeChat. So Jake and I are going to kind of go through this and talk about the future direction. First of all, I'd like to just say at the beginning, we're not focusing on monetizing quite yet. We've talked about this, but our focus is on building the technology and the community until we have a foundation that we're really happy with that will continue to grow. So we can really kind of build this foundation of trustworthy, professional, fantastic shops. And from there, we'll consider, funding the project even more. Okay, so let's go into future direction of technology, and Jake will go ahead and lead you through this.
All right, cool. I will not take too much time on this. If you have any questions or you want more details on any point, feel free to bring that up in the Q&A that will come in just a moment. So, future features and improvements that we want to implement. The first is an administrative backend, so that shop managers and artists have the opportunity to manage the content that's on their profile pages in a more simple way, because uploading that many large, high-resolution images from mobile can be a huge hassle. So we think that a web backend is probably more appropriate. So we're in the middle of developing that. We need to make some scalability improvements. Simply because it's a 2-week MVP, we designed it as such. So there are some scalability improvements that we're in the middle of implementing and will continue to implement as time goes on. We want to implement the ability for community leaders, tattoo community leaders, to write articles about some of the really important information that they want clients and they want even other artists to know about tattooing and about the culture that's growing around it. as with any technological product, intuitive functionality is incredibly important, and there's always room to improve. We recognize that and we embrace it, so we're going to continue to improve the UI, the UX, and make sure that it remains a pleasant experience and becomes an even more pleasant experience for our users. And one feature that we're looking hard at is image recognition. There are plenty of APIs, there's plenty of technology available out there to recognize images, and we think that that would really improve the ability to protect your intellectual property, which is hugely important for artists, as any artist will tell you. And it would also give us a much more robust tagging system. So we're looking hard at that kind of technology and how to best implement it. And with that, I'll hand it back to Ashton to go over business and community growth in the future.
Thank you. I mean, let's talk about this thing that we have right here. Let's talk about community and what it means. So, you know, O2O, we are in a fantastic place, and we're very lucky, because offline to online, there's tons of events, conventions that fit perfectly with what Wechat's doing around Chengdu. This is a very artistic place. It's a really cool and open-minded place, so we're in the heart of it here in the West. We've also talked to a couple shops that are already on the platform who are happy to put our QR code in their shops, as this is a symbiotic relationship. We kind of help each other. So that's one way to go offline to online, and community will grow through this. That leads me to my next point, which is continuing to build, you know, new studio relationships, but also deepening the current ones that we have, of course. And then last, there's nothing that locks this app to Chengdu. The only thing that locks it really is just us making sure that all the people on are really professional. It's really legitimate source and foundation. So expansion to other cities is, you know, quite simple around China. So for future growth plan, that's the basics. We'd love to talk about more. There's a lot more details we can talk about in Q&A. So we'll go a little bit further. So just to run over it really quickly, we already expressed that monetization is not our focus. However, there's a couple different potential things we can do. And we'd love to talk more to some of you about this if you have some ideas. So for example, I was approached by a shop who had a great idea, which is sell coupons for their art. And so partnered shops that decide that they want to work with us in this way would be able to have these sponsored coupons that you can buy from the app. A percentage of that would go to the app. Of course, unobtrusive in-app ads. In some cases, with the right type of ads, you can actually add to the experience. That's a funny play on words. But you can add to the experience. So, you know, ads that fit and are interesting to our customers are the only ones that would make it in, but we're considering that as an option.
And the third option really is a plethora of options. Obviously, there are many routes to monetization, and we're open to any and all of them as long as they fit within the spirit of the app, which is community growth and really working with and integrating with the community without obstructing it. So if anybody has any ideas, please let us know, and we'd be more than happy to hear about it. Thank you.
Okay, only 2 things left. Just 2 things left. Give me another maybe 30 seconds.
About that. I misled you.
First of all, I'd like to take a second and just give some credit and love to our team. So you guys already met me. I'm Ashton. I'm the project manager, so I've been kind of dealing with direction and connections with others. I've also been dealing with the repository on Git and kind of, you know, smashing our head against the wall with merge conflicts, as a lot of you probably know, but we made it through. You guys already met Jake as well. His focus is back end, but you know he also does front end and all sorts of ends. He's pretty much a wizard. And then 2 people you haven't met yet, fantastic members of our team, the front end artists that made it so beautiful. Please, I'd love to introduce right now Marky. Please stand up. Yeah. Last but certainly not least, Kalu, please stand up. Awesome. So, you know, the last thing I'd like to say is, as we talked about, you know, this is just a 2-week MVP. But if you're excited about it, and if it makes you excited and you want to continue this conversation, we would love to talk to industry leaders, we'd love to talk to potential business partners, and of course, anybody who wants to get their shop listed, or any people that know artists that are interested in doing that. There's a bunch of ways to do that. You can talk to the team right now, tonight, or you can scan this QR code. This is my personal QR code. If you want, I can also send it in the group, and we can talk about, you know, onboarding or potential business opportunities. So now, just the last thing I want to say is, honestly, thank you guys so much for your apt attention, Thank you for coming out here, and thank you for using WeChat in the future. Thank you guys so much.
All right, great. So we will we'll bring the team up. Actually, let's have the team over here so you guys can ask them any questions. We'll do a quick Q&A. If there are any questions for our team, Alina, you want to hit the B button so we turn off the screen? All right. So any questions from the audience for the team?
Anyone wants to take a question?
Questions? Yeah, sure.
Curious about the different ways that you can, like the different tags and ways you can scroll through art. So you have like artist, shop, and style.
Yeah. The tags currently are populated automatically. When we add an artist, we go through and we ask the shops to provide us with their overall style, and then we'll add 2 or 3 different tags which are added automatically to their profile. And actually, as you're playing with the app, you can see that you can tap a tag and it will automatically filter the search results. Because this is the 2-week product, the database is actually a little bit limited. We didn't have enough time to get everybody in. But when we have all of the artists that we've been provided with, you'll get a filtered filtered view of all the artists that fit that style.
The search is smart as well. So for example, if there's multiple styles that are similar, they will all show up, even if the wording is a little different. It's a smart search.
Can you stack tags like search?
Yeah. Currently, we're using a picker because WeChat. We tried to do that first, but the WeChat program is complicated. So you can go through one, but because it's smart, it's possible to see multiples. But I get your point, like seeing 2 different ones. As far as I know, in WeChat mini programs, that's difficult to do because of the specific way the search is. But if they release new stuff, and they probably will, because they're always updating, then we'll be on top of that.